and our beautiful Performing Arts Center. Tonight, as you see up on the big screen, we're going to be talking about the nuts and bolts of the application process. So I know you are all ready for your children to go off to college. No, you're not, but you will be. And we are going to give you some hints about how to make that application process possible. But before we get to that, before we get to Mrs. Lockridge, who is the star of our show tonight, by the way, I'd like to introduce our PTA presidents, Monica Wong, John Fisher.
Hello, everyone. This is John Fisher. We are your co-presidents for the PTA this year. I was just in their shoes last year. I have two that graduated. They're off to college now. And I have an incoming 8th grader. Oh, well, actually, yeah, she's an 8th grader. So I have no one at the high school right now, but here I am. I'm here to help all you guys. I just want to mention a couple things. First of all, thank you to all of you who've already donated. If you have, we have the incentives after this meeting. You can pick them up. We also have the college books for sale. And I want to mention, even though you are parents to seniors, we really hope you will donate to the PTA. I know you're almost out of here, but we use that money for all 4 grades. It goes to curriculum enrichment, field trips, we buy things for the school. We've just upgraded the fitness center that a lot of your kids are using. It's open to all kids. We have a lot of teams in the off-season that use the fitness center. It looks amazing. We're also redoing some of the planters in the student center, a courtyard. So all of the money that is donated goes right back into the school. Teacher grants, goes to the kids, goes to the school improvement. So we really rely on parents for your donations. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was look out for our Big Red News. If you are not receiving information from the PTA, please make sure you get onto Membership Toolkit, update your information. You don't want to miss anything this year, especially having seniors. On that note, senior-specific activity, I want to introduce Michaela Colbe, who will talk about what's going on the senior side. She's got a senior this year.
Okay, I'm not used to speaking in a microphone. Anyway, first of all, I can't believe we're here. I was talking to another mom. Oh, closer. I can't believe we're here. I was talking to another mom. It's like one day it's really exciting, the next is very sad, you know. But anyway, I'm going to be brief because I know we all want to hear from Allison. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the graduation party that's going to happen straight after the rehearsal graduation ceremony. So all the kids that come straight in from the stadium, coming to the school. We're going to have food, drinks, ice cream, candy. The whole gym is set as a, what do you call it? Not a fair, but you know, you play the card games. Like a casino, like a casino. There's a photo booth, ping pong tables, raffles, really exciting raffles. They can win a MacBook, iPads, Xbox, and a lot of other prizes. It's really fun. I was there and witnessed it all last year. The kids get so excited when they win. They get excited for each other. So anyway, how do we pay for this? This is where we all come in. We are trying to raise, the goal is to raise $45,000. That sounds like a lot of money, but breaking it down roughly per student is like $65. And one of the things we do to offset that is to sell the lawn signs. I'm sure you've seen it the past years around town. So look out for an email in November when you get all the information. We will also do a couple of other things to raise a little more money. So anyway, that's that.
All right, thank you. We'll turn it back over.
Okay, alrighty. I have Maureen Bonanno with us today. Maureen, former president of the Greenwich High School PTA, now she's running the GSA, Greenwich Scholarship Association, and she'd like to have a few words. Marie.
Hi everyone, it's nice to be back. I'm Director of Operations for Greenwich Scholarship Association, which has been around for a very, very long time, since the 70s. Greenwich Scholarship gives out need-based scholarships to Greenwich seniors. The scholarships are donated mostly from local organizations and families. We have a pretty large endowment, and we also have some annual donations that come through. The PTA, Greenwich High School PTA is a big donor, as well as PTA Council. All of the elementary schools and middle schools have donated, and we have a scholarship for all of those organizations. So it's an amazing organization. It's there's about 20 people on the board. Last year we gave out $800,000 to Greenwich students, which is an incredible amount of money. Those scholarships can be for the first year or for all 4 years. Usually, we go from either $500 for a student all the way up to, I think this year we hit $28,000, and that was spread over 4 years. So did I mention how many kids? So we gave that out to 83 seniors last year. So pretty impressive numbers there. The scholarships are for students attending either a university or a trade school. So we definitely had some kids last year. It was pretty great. They're going to become an electrician. One's becoming going to beauty school. So those need to be approved, but amazing, if they give us all the information and they qualify, we'll look at all of the opportunities that the kids want to do. So, how do they qualify? That's a perfect segue. They have to fill out an application by March 6th. The application should be online, open around Thanksgiving. So I think we're targeting November 21st. The application is pretty straightforward, and the kids would just include their Common App essay. Also, they need to demonstrate financial need. So as I mentioned, all of the scholarships are need-based scholarships. So we determine need-based by your FAFSA. So if your FAFSA meets the qualification, the FAFSA number that it spits out, I don't know how much you guys know yet, but the Student Aid Index, we look at that information and we determine eligibility. Also, the students need to provide their financial aid packages from colleges, and they must interview with us. That's a key thing. They interview with the board members. It's a pretty easy interview, but it is mandatory, and this year it will take place on April 30th, which is a Thursday. And there's also a minimum GPA requirement. So that's it in a nutshell.
Where do you find the application?
No, the application is on our website. It's at greenwichscholarship.org. Every week in the, what's it called? The College and Career Update, we have a blurb in there. I haven't sent it in yet. I'm sending it in next week. So the information will all be in there. We work very closely with all the school counselors here. And so all the school counselors will guide the students through this whole process. So we work hand in hand. Any other questions? What I forget? Okay. And you can email me anytime. Just go on our website. My email's all over the place. So, okay. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Maureen. So, I have our 2 school resource officers here today, and they wanted to come in and say hi, so I figured, okay, give them some FaceTime to see your parents. Officer Reich and Officer Wallace have been dedicated to the school since they both arrived. They have a new ride now. They can describe that to you. They can also describe exactly what they do here.
All right, hey everyone, my name is Fred Reich. I'm one of the school resource officers. I'm actually in my 7th year as an SRO here at the high school.
And hi, I'm Wally. This is my 5th year here at the high school. And just a brief overview of what we do, in case you're not familiar with us. So yes, we are members of the Rancho Police Department. We are certified law enforcement officers, and we do enforce the law if need be here at the high school. But in our role, we are much more than that. We try to ingrain ourselves in this community at JHS as much as possible. Some ways we have done that and will continue to do is we are at all the senior events like prom, graduation. I know that's a favorite for Officer Reich and I because we're with your kids when they are freshmen and get to see them grow up as young adults at graduation and get to celebrate with them, which is a really cool experience. Every year I look forward to it, and I know Officer Reich does as well. I'm also a coach here at the high school. I coach the track team. Officer Reich was involved in our wrestling program for a number of years. But we always like to change things up and try and expand as much as we can. So some new things that we have. If you saw that really cool police car out back, we actually named it. It's called the Cardinal Cruiser. And yes, we came up with that all on our own, so we're pretty excited about that. If you can, you may see an Instagram handle on there. Please give us a follow. We really appreciate that. Chief Heavey does as well, so please give us a follow. Also, we'll be starting a little talk show segment on Cardinal News that the kids will get to see. It's called What's Up with Wally. I believe Mr. Mayo is going to be our first guest. No? All right. But just know we are here for your students and your kids. We don't want to be the big, scary police officers. I hope you know that by now since we've known most of you for the past 4 years, even longer. So just know we're here for not just the kids, but also you as well. If you have any questions or have any concerns, you can always reach out. We're here every day, so just let us know.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I also have a welcome from our Dean of Student Life, Mr. Thomas Pereira. He's right over here. And I'm going to quote, when I was telling the faculty that I was quoting Phil Donahue the other day, and they said, who's Phil Donahue? I said, well, I'm really old, right? So there you go.
So we'll take questions from the audience now. I'm just kidding. So, welcome again, and congratulations. You're going to take a blink, and we're going to be in June. We're going to be at graduation. So, it's fantastic. I know we have quite the journey still left ahead of us. Ms. Locker is going to give you a fantastic amount of information about the college process. But again, please know that even though your child are seniors, we are still here to support them throughout their journey until they get out of Greenwich High School. So, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I know they may think they know everything. They are 18 years old. But contrary to popular belief, you do not. So don't hesitate to reach out on behalf of your children for us to also help lend that support. So we look forward to seeing all the great things that they're going to do post-secondary, and part of that is getting ready together. So thank you very much for, one, just the faith in this great institution, and then two, just know that your children are going to be very, very well prepared for their next step in life. Thank you.
Now, Mrs. Allison Lockridge will get to the nuts and bolts of this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seems a little strange being up here, but I have to control this PowerPoint, so. Well, welcome everybody. Just curious, raise your hands how many times, are you first time parent going through this process? Oh, a lot of you, great. Well, I will say, even if you're a veteran parent going through this process, it can be overwhelming. So we started doing this presentation a couple years ago after some feedback from parents that they felt a little disconnected at this point in the process. I will say I went through this process for the first time myself as a parent a year ago. These few months were probably my least favorite part of the process. I love getting out there and visiting colleges and the research part of it, but the actual application process can be a little tedious. So my goal is not to overwhelm you tonight. I'm going to email these slides out to you and show you the agenda that we went over with, pull that up right now, what we went over with seniors and counselor advisory. And so you're going to have this at your fingertips. So it was a very long agenda. Unfortunately, it was a long advisory. But again, I'm going to send this out. We've sent it out a couple times already. Really keep this handy. I would refer back to this. We told seniors to reread, and just maybe print it and just have a copy of it. We have direct links to everything. But we spent a good 40 minutes
going through everything on the agenda with seniors again last week. And then the next step was to schedule a time to meet with their counselor. So if your senior hasn't done that yet, I would highly recommend scheduling that meeting sometime in the next week or two. Definitely sometime in the month of September. And at that first meeting, the counselor will go over the student's college list, go through the process more specifically, and then schedule a follow-up meeting from there. Some seniors check in with their counselor once a week, some every other week, and some students are very independent, did a lot over the summer, and may only need a couple sessions. So we recognize that all seniors are at different places, and really try to cater to that. But just right at the top of the agenda, I wanted to just point out there's a great little checklist. I'm a big checklist person. So there's a direct link there, so you can kind of go through senior year, everything you need to do. So that's handy. A link to our website, which has all forms and important information. And I run college application workshops starting Thursday, and they go through the following week. And they're basically, I call them level up and become an app. So I focus a lot on the activity section, the supplemental essays. So again, if your senior hasn't signed up for one of those workshops, I would encourage them to do so. Okay. Slides here. So first of all, we've got some deadlines coming up pretty quickly. So most early deadlines are November 1st. Some can be a little earlier. But the majority of our students are applying early action or early decision to several schools by November 1st. That could be 3 schools, could be 7 schools, really depends on the list. But we're about a month and a half out, so it comes pretty quickly. And then we have a kind of the second round of deadlines, which are regular decision or early decision 2. There's also a few schools that offer rolling decision, and what that means is colleges will review applications as they come in. So it's important to submit your application as early as possible, as early as you're ready with your application, because it just gets more competitive the longer you wait. It's not a lot of schools that have rolling, but there are a few state schools. And then UConn has a priority deadline of December 1st. It's free on November 1st, so that's a good time to submit your UConn application. And merit scholarship deadlines typically tend to be also around November to December 1st. So want to be thinking of, a couple months, most applications will be submitted, less than a couple months. So in terms of what the student is responsible for, the Common Application, most schools use the Common Application. There are some schools that use their own specific application, but not many. Main components, essay, the activity section, which I find students typically undersell themselves on, which is why I like to cover that a lot in my workshop. It's a great opportunity. It's really the only opportunity to really talk about all activities that you've done throughout high school. And many colleges have supplemental essays in addition to their the regular essay. There's an additional info section for other things that students may want to include. But this is really the student's responsibility. And students submit their application, obviously on their own. And then transcripts and letters of recommendations go through SCORE. So most of you probably have logged into SCORE. And again, this is how we submit our documents. So this is where I feel like we could really use parents' help, and what would be helpful for seniors as well is just kind of a double check with SCORE. We want to make sure we get all the materials out by the deadlines. So in order to do that, we went through all these steps again in counselor advisory. Students need to complete the FERPA, which is basically waiving their rights, saying that they're not going to look at their letters of recommendations. They need to link the Common App with SCORE. So that's, again, very simple process. It's just a click of a button. And when they add the colleges into the Common Application, they're going to answer college-specific questions about how they're going to apply early action, early decision, and then the deadlines will come up. And when they do that in a Common App, it then will automatically go to this applying list in SCORE, and teachers and the counselor will get a notification that Johnny's applying to UConn, the deadline is November 1st. So this is a very important step because you're relying on teachers and a counselor to get documents out on time. So we highly encourage students to do all of these steps during counselor advisory. If they didn't get to it, we suggested that they do it that weekend. So this would be a great thing for parents to kind of check in with their student, is to do complete all of those SCORE steps and check on that kind of applying list, which I'll show you the screen next. Early decision is binding. There's a contract that needs to be signed. So in terms of parent signatures, students need to invite their parents under the recommendations section of the Common App, and then the counselor signs the agreement on SCORE. So this is what the applying list looks like on SCORE. So this would again be a great thing to just kind of check in with your senior. In that applying column, if there's nothing in that applying column, or college is missing on there, nothing will go from the high school. So this is a really important place to cross-check. If the school doesn't use the Common Application, you have to manually enter it in here. So you just go to Add College on the top right, and add the school and the deadline. So my recommendation is, again, to do this like now, sooner the better, because you're giving teachers and your counselor more notice. The requirement is 2 weeks before the deadline, so you can enter this October 15th, and we'll still make sure it's out by November 1st. But again, the sooner you're giving people notice, the better. So a little thing on standardized testing. I know we talked a lot about this in the kickoff last year. Really important to check to see if your test scores fall within the median range for a college. And if they don't, it's recommended that you apply test optional, if the school is test optional. We also talked to students about most schools allow you to put your test scores on the Common Application if you're submitting scores. But there are some schools that require official reports directly from College Board or ACT. Again, this is another helpful thing parents can kind of check in on. Sometimes students miss this. So if schools require an official report, just need to go on to College Board or ACT and officially send the scores or to pay for each college. And you can do that now. Like this, everything kind of just gets submitted, sits up there in the cloud until the application gets submitted by the student. It's okay to submit the test scores tomorrow. A letter of recommendation can go the next day, and then once the actual application is submitted by the student, then everything kind of gets connected. Demonstrated interest. Again, we talked about this last year, but just to kind of recap on this, the college reps, the admission representatives, start visiting the College and Career Center tomorrow. Penn State is coming tomorrow, and maybe one other school. This is another thing that we really would love parents to help us with is checking in with your senior to see if they're paying attention to the rep visit calendar, which I'll show you where to find that on SCORE. And then I also send out my weekly newsletter, the College and Career Update, and the visit schedule for the next 2 weeks is posted on there. I found last year the visits were not well attended. The admissions counselor that's coming from the college is the person that's going to be reading the student's application. So it's super important for students to come. If they have a class, they need to ask their teacher in advance if they're going to miss the class. And if they have an open, they just come. We ask students that they register for the visits on SCORE. It's not required, but it just helps us just have a sense of the numbers. Another great event coming up is College Night. I'm sure most of you attended one of our previous nights. Again, the person behind the table is the person reading the application. So it's a great way to kind of check in, scan the QR code, ask a couple questions. But that's a really great way to show interest. Not all colleges interview, but some schools do. Another excellent way to show interest. I will do an interview workshop later in the fall in the College and Career Center for students that are interviewing. And then I also offer mock interviews for students. And And finally, there's a lot of virtual programming and those supplemental essays, if the college has one, they're really looking at fit. So that really ties into the interest piece. So this is where you sign up for the rep visits and score. You have to be on the student account, so the parent, on the parent account, you can't see the rep visits. So you'd have to, if you wanted to know when they were, you'd have to look on my newsletter or sign in with your seniors account. So really, how can you be helpful as parents? I find that, again, just going through this process myself a year ago, it's a fine line between nagging and, and not being involved at all. I definitely erred on the nagging side until my son took me a check. And then I said, okay, once a week, we're just going to have like a kind of a 15-minute check-in. I promise not to talk about it then. You had that 15-minute check-in once a week. I would have the agenda, the senior meeting agenda, just handy, checklist, maybe this, and just kind of check in on a few things. Some seniors are super independent and do all this on their own, and others need more check-ins. Most importantly, remaining calm, supportive. It's sometimes hard to do that at this point in the school year. We talked about rep visits, the score, applying list is helpful to check in on, helping to send test scores if the student needs help with that. There's something called STAR. Not that many schools use it, but it's self-reported grades. There's some state schools that require it, like Penn State requires it, Clemson requires it. And it's a little tedious. It's a separate website. You have to upload your transcript and confirm accuracy. It just takes a little time. Sometimes seniors will ask the parent to help out with that. We want seniors to drive this process. They should be writing their own essays. They should be managing this process as best as they can. But parents can support with little things like sending test scores if the student's overwhelmed or helping with this self-reported grades. And then after students submit their applications, then they'll need to check the college portal. So if I submit my application to Penn State, I'll then get an email from Penn State confirming my application was received with a login to the Penn State portal. That's where I'm going to find out my college decision eventually. But that's also where you can check to make sure everything has been received. I will say, please don't panic if you don't see that your teacher letters or counselor letter or transcript were not received. Maybe like a few days before the deadline, check again. If they're still not received, then it's maybe a good time for the student to check in with the teachers and counselor. But most documents are uploaded fairly close to the deadline. Some are sooner, but it does depend. And also, when documents are submitted, it doesn't instantly come into the portal. So again, it depends on the school. Sometimes it comes in a couple days, other times it might take a week or so. But again, another thing that parents can be helpful with is helping to check those portals or just reminding them to make sure all the documents have been received. And I do want to point out, I had a conversation with a student today. She did everything over the summer, which rarely happens. We recommend that, but rarely happens. But she was completely done. And she was just going to wait until her teacher letters and everything else were submitted before she submitted her application. We get that a lot. There's no reason to hold on to your application. When you're done with your application and you feel good about your essays, click submit. Your teacher letters, everything else can come after. You don't have to wait for those documents to be received. So we have a few upcoming events. It's a busy time for counselors. We have our financial aid night coming up. That's virtual. We have our college admission panel, which we had a great panel this year. This is the first year we're having it in person in here since the pandemic. So we highly recommend that you come to this if you're able to. And then we have our college night on the 16th. So it's a busy month and a half. And just to give you a sense of what the college career update looks like, hopefully you've seen my emails. But it's a live document, and it's right on the Greenwich High School website. So I send just an email with a link to it every week. But really, any events, any college or career-related event, scholarship information, really anything relevant to juniors and seniors, we put on this college and career update. So take a preview of that every week. So most importantly, we're here to help guide you through this process. So just encourage your senior to meet with their counselor as much as they need, but especially that initial meeting should happen soon. Access the workshops that I offer in the College and Career Center. We're here to answer questions and really guide you through this next month and a half. After you click those submit buttons after November 1st, definitely it's a little more enjoyable after that. It's a little stressful the next bit, but once you click that submit button, a big screen of confetti, and it's smooth sailing from there. I do have a few minutes before Karen comes on for questions. Hard to ask questions in a big audience like this, but you take a few.
I'm just wondering about the merit-based scholarship. If you could talk a little bit more about that. So I'm a little confused with the deadlines. You said, okay, check each school. That's I understand that. But you also said it's about November, whereas regular applications are only due on January 1st, right? So what is the
Yeah. So the question is about merit scholarships and deadlines. So not all colleges offer merit scholarships, but a lot do. And they're just, the deadlines typically are earlier. So for example, Boston University has a January 1st regular decision deadline, but to be considered for merit money, they require you to submit your application by December 1st. So sometimes there's an extra essay, an extra application. For the most part, colleges automatically consider you for merit scholarships. And also, for the most part, for schools that offer early action, that is the deadline for merit scholarships, but it can just vary a little bit. If you haven't logged into College Kickstart, that is an optional program that we use. It's excellent, though, especially for the merit scholarships. There's a great, basically, you put all your colleges in there, and you can see an application overview page for schools that offer merit money, and it'll give you whether or not they have an extra essay or a separate deadline. So that can be helpful to get yourself organized, or maybe just creating a separate spreadsheet. Yeah, the FERPA, I just kind of glossed over that, but basically the FERPA is, really everybody recommends that you waive your rights, and that's saying that you're not going to demand to see your letters of recommendations. If you don't waive your rights, colleges may or may not read it and or may not read it in the same fashion. I will say teachers and counselors would never write anything negative about a student, so there's nothing to worry about. So it is recommended just, across the board to waive your rights. Yeah, so most colleges use the Common Application, and that became live August 1st. So it is live.
So, but everything ready by November.
Right.
So we're gonna be late, or?
Oh no, I mean, some people are just starting the process now. I mean, we still have 2 months.
They all send an email urging us to apply.
Yes, I know the marketing is, pretty crazy. A lot of emails coming out with waiver, apply for free, and but as long as you budget your time well between now and November 1st, and you're just starting, and definitely get this done. It's just as you get closer to the end of October, it can make for a really stressful couple weeks if you're just writing your essays in. So if you haven't started the essays, we're recommending that be number 1 priority this weekend. Questions? Yes? Yes, they're offered every block and before school. So there's a link in the senior morning agenda with sign-ups, and just click on the date. So I'll send these slides out, and I'll just send another attachment with the senior meeting agenda that we went over with students tomorrow morning. So you kind of just have those at your fingertips.
Can you talk about demonstrated interest? I've heard that some schools, especially large state schools, are downplaying that. Is that true?
Well, so not all colleges track demonstrated interest, but in my previous slide there, I mentioned college rep visits, college night, those are ways of showing interest. Personally, I always suggest showing interest in all of your schools and personalizing this process as much as possible. So, but a lot of state schools actually do not track demonstrated interest. But again, it can't hurt. You never know. An admissions counselor could remember you. So we always recommend just go under the assumption that all schools track interest so that, you're putting your best foot forward. So that would be my recommendation. Okay, I think I'm being urged to move on to Karen Foster, our second guest speaker, our last guest speaker here. But great to see all of you. I look forward to helping you through this process. Feel free to reach out to the questions.
Reminder, we're filming this, so if you miss anything or think you're missing anything, this will be up on the website in like 2 days. So you can come back and take a look at the presentation, listen to Allison over again in case you miss anything. And also, Allison's always available, so please email her, she will get back to you, as well as your own school counselor that your child has. And our last speaker tonight is Karen Foster, our Director of Student Activities.
So mine is hopefully quick and hopefully will be a good resource for all of you out there who have seniors, because I know that senior year can get super busy, not only with school and athletics and college applications, just other fun stuff that's going on. So I sent out earlier this evening a document, important dates and deadlines. I know it's a little small in here, but you have all received this. And the reason why I do this is because, like I said, there's so many things to keep track of that I just want you guys to have this. I am known for sending out my emails. I will continue to send out lots of emails this year, I promise. But this is just a quick reference. There will always be detailed emails that will go out and reminder emails that will go out about things, but I wanted to give you the deadlines, and I wanted to give you some of them cost money, so I wanted to let you guys know what the cost was, so that you could prepare for that. And then if you see, most of the stuff is actually optional. So your senior portrait is optional. You do not have to take it. We did have a great turnout for our class panoramic video or photo. That's optional if you guys want to buy it. You don't have to. We also had your senior portrait deadline to select it for the yearbook. So I want to go over a couple of things about your senior portrait. You have your senior portrait that you take, and then there are a couple different deadlines. The deadline to select the photo for the yearbook is November 7th. Okay, that is if they want their picture in the yearbook and they want to select the picture. Okay, so if they only had one picture taken, then that's the one they're using. If they had multiple pictures taken, when you see the proofs online, you'll get, you can go online. I've sent the directions on how to look at the proofs online. You're just gonna, you favorite it. So it's like you select the one that you want in the yearbook. If you miss the deadline of November 7th, then the photographer will select the picture for your child that will be in the yearbook. So that's a big deadline that people want. Another deadline for November 7th is senior quotes. Again, optional. Students do not have to put a senior quote in the yearbook if they do not want to, but they are more than welcome to. That link to sign up will be going out soon. Let's see what's purchasing the yearbook. So the early bird is through November 7th. You can purchase it at different points in the year. You do get an early bird price. Here's a deadline that you to take a note of is the ad. The ad for the yearbook. If you want to put a senior ad in the yearbook, then that is a strict deadline because the senior section is the first section that they do in the yearbook. So if you want to do that ad, and here's what I'm going to say. I've done 4 ads. They take longer than you think. So please don't wait until the night before to work on your ad because inevitably something happens. Give yourself at least a couple days to do it. Side note, some people have tried to do it and submit it from their work computer and it's blocked for some reason. So again, just give yourself time to be able to do that senior ad, to work on it, to do all the proofs and then submit it. Please don't wait until the very end because that is a strict deadline for the yearbook committee when they're putting those pages together. Again, you can order it online. The big one, so we're going to get to the second thing that's required, the graduation fee. An email will go out in January about graduation. The graduation fee is due by February 6th. That fee includes ordering your child's cap and gown for graduation. Okay? It comes with a cap, gown, and tassel if you have an older sibling and you just need the cap and tassel, you can do that as well. That information, again, will go out. It's also on the school website. So if you go to Student Life and then you go to Student Activities, there's a whole page for graduation. Any emails that I send out about graduation, I put links to those on the website. So you can always go back, you don't have to scroll through your emails. You can always go to the website and find the link for all of the emails that I send out about graduation. So please make sure that you order by February 6th. If you do not, I hound you. I promise you, you will receive an email from me every other day. There are about 670 students that I need to get cap and gown orders for. It's a lot, and we want to make sure everyone has the correct gown. Just a side note, the students get to select what color gown they want. Typically, most of the young gentlemen wear red and the young ladies wear white, but it is optional. It is their choice. They can wear either one. So please check with them before you order, because a lot of times we get, my mom ordered the wrong color, or my dad ordered the wrong color. Can I swap it? And I have a limited amount of supply to swap out the day before graduation. Senior prom tickets will go on sale from April 27th to May 12th. The price for that is still to be determined. The graduation date will be determined by the Board of Education, usually in early April at the Board of Ed meeting. And then graduation portraits will be taken at graduation. There are photographers on the field that take pictures of your child walking across the stage, and those will be emailed out to you as well. So again, this is just a quick reference for you guys. Again, a lot of my stuff is on the website. Prom dates are on the website, the places where they are. The link, if you know your child's bringing a guest from out of the school, that is already for the prom. That is already on the website. All the graduation stuff I will continue to update on the website. So I hope that this comes in handy. Please know that this is only for student activities. This has nothing to do with guidance or academics or athletics or anything else. This is just stuff that comes from the student activities. So I hope it helps you guys. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always email me. I can take questions now if you have any, but otherwise, if you think of them afterwards, you can email me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the staff that was staying along there is already banging me, so that's the conclusion of our presentation tonight for senior parents. If you have questions, please stay. I'll stay as long as you want to stay and answer as many questions as I possibly can about Greenwich High School. Don't ask me about the guidance piece because I haven't been involved in that in years, but if you don't have a question, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. If you have a question, stay and I will